Hello, I'm Michael Staten, Professor and Director of the Take Charge America Institute for Consumer Financial Education and Research. Together we're working with you to build better lives through financial literacy. One of the ways we do that is through our award-winning Family Economics and Financial Education project, commonly known as FIFI, designed by educators for educators. FIFI provides lesson plans and materials in downloadable form free of charge. Now hear from our Master Educator team as they describe how to use FIFI in your classroom and describe some of the activities that you can use with your students.
My name's Joanna. I'm a FIFI National Educator from Manhattan, Montana. The activity that I'm going to demonstrate today is MoneyWorld Squares. It's an active learning tool from the FIFI curriculum. Active learning tools are tools that can be used to introduce, enhance, or conclude an activity. One thing that you need to know about this activity is it takes approximately 25 minutes to go through, 5 minutes to introduce the activity, 15 minutes to engage in the activity, and 5 minutes to have wrap-up and discussion questions. When the lesson plan is first downloaded, the instructions and activity cards are printed out as a long document. To successfully implement this lesson plan, you'll first need to create your question and answer document and activity pieces. For your question and answer document, prepare a list of at least 9 questions that are true and false, multiple choice, or definition questions and answers. If a question is answered incorrectly, it can be read later in the activity, or you may choose to develop more than 9 questions to minimize the same questions being used more than once. The activity pieces are located on the final page of the lesson plan. When printing, be sure to have 3 copies of the X and O template printed with X's on one side and O's on the other. Then cut out the X and O and put them together with an X on one side and an O on the other. It's a good idea to laminate your cards for extra durability, and the final product will look like this. There are 2 ways to facilitate MoneyWorld Squares. The first one that I'd like to show you involves 3 participants, 2 team members and 1 host. The host will ask a question from the bank of questions to one of the participants. If the participant gets the question correct, they get to put an X or an O on the square that they choose. The host will then ask the opposite team a question. If they get it right, then they get to choose which square or circle they would like to put on the board. And the game continues until there is an X or an O, horizontal, vertical, or diagonally across the board. In order to make your own game board, purchase Velcro with sticky back tape on the back side. Cut them into strips, put the fuzzy side against the game board and the looped side on the game board pieces. It's important that you put Velcro loops on both sides of the game pieces. Another way to facilitate this game is to use a human board. We'll need 12 participants in order to do this. 9 will be the board, on the board, 2 will be team members, and 1 will be the facilitator. For a human board to be set up, there needs to be 3 individuals standing, 3 individuals sitting in front of them in chairs, and 3 individuals sitting on the ground in front of the chair. Each individual should be holding an X or O activity card. The remaining 3 individuals will be broken down in the following ways. 1 individual will be the host of the activity. The host of the activity is in charge of the question and answers to the activity board as well as scorekeeping. The remaining 2 individuals will be the contestants or spokesperson for the team. If you have additional members in your classroom, they could also create additional team members. The first team selects a square. The square is asked a question, and the individual who is at that square answers the question. If the contestant feels that the square answer is correct, they'll agree with the answer. If they feel that the answer is wrong, they'll indicate that they disagree with the square. The activity also incorporates the strategy of tricking the team.
All right, I choose math.
Therefore, if a square does not know the correct answer, that's part of the activity, and their job is to convince the contestant that the answers they are providing are correct. If the contestant is incorrect, for example, if they agree with this square and the square was correct, then they will be given the X or the O, whichever signifies their team, to show ownership of that spot. If the contestant is wrong, the square is not granted to them. Let's watch MoneyWorld Squares in action.
Sarah, please choose a square.
I choose Meg.
Meg, what two forms does every person complete when they begin a new job?
That would be the application and the W-4.
I disagree.
Correct. The real answer is Form W-4 and Form I-9. X gets the square.
Following the team's turn, despite whether they win or lose the question, the second team will have the opportunity to play. This play will continue until the first team achieves 3 X's or 3 O's, either horizontal, vertically, or diagonally.
Christian, please pick a square.
I choose Timmy.
What is the pay a person actually takes home, gross or net?
The answer is net pay.
I'm gonna have to agree.
The answer is correct. O gets the square.
Some additional teaching tips for MoneyWorld Squares could include, if you had not enough participants to have a host, you could cut up the question strips, put them in a Ziploc bag and have the students draw the questions from the bag. Another fun thing to do is to have each student be assigned a movie star, maybe it would be an Olympic athlete or a political figure to be for MoneyWorld Squares. If you don't have enough participants for the human game board, it's interesting also to pull in maybe school administrators, other teachers, or people in the community that could help be the human game board. This active learning tool is one of my students' favorites. Use it in any curriculum that you choose and adapt it to work for your particular classroom.